Monday night again, and it's part 3C for Completely Silly. And Kent is silly. Now, before we get started, one of my viewers left a comment that I found amusing enough I have to mention it. He said that between the costume, the content, and most of all, Kent Hovind, that the Fluffy Atheist show makes him feel like he's watching The Muppets Atheism Edition. Hi-ho, this is Corsi the dog here, and we found out how silly Kent is last week when I couldn't stop laughing and needed help to finish the video. Yay!
Hold that thought.
How rude. Wait, it's not worse again this week, is it?
Hold on.
Oh, crap it is. Angel, what's he going to say this time?
Tonight we're going to be covering the topic of dinosaurs that may still be alive.
My old laptop?
No.
You said like you were disappointed. So, birds then.
No.
No, please. Please tell me he isn't that stupid.
Yeah.
Yep, gonna need beer for this. Okay, as you saw in the thumbnail, Godfather Time is back. Now, for this video, since it is going to go down a rather, interesting route, I'm going to ask the video clip Angel to skip all the garbage and repetitive tropes that we went over in the first two videos. So we get it. Kent thinks the audio demon is teaching people a load of lies.
Bet you I'm right.
You are right. You're a good demon.
Of course, sir.
So, Angel, can we get a good baseline for how this is all going to go today?
Anyway, so reptiles never stop growing. If they could live to be 900, they'd get 40, 50, 60 feet long. Dinosaurs lived with Adam and Eve, okay? Noah took them on the ark. After the flood, many could not survive in the new climate. It was different. And then many could not survive, but man killed a lot of them, maybe exterminated some, calling them dragons or some other name.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Dragons? Really? So dragons emanate from just about every culture on the planet. Typically, they come from thousands of years ago, stemming from the idea that ancient civilizations stumbled across dinosaur fossils and tried to understand what they were looking at. Initially, they were thought to be snake-like creatures, and things pretty much snowballed from there. But the idea that Noah was fighting and exterminating the same dinosaurs that God himself told him to save is preposterous, as it would mean Noah intentionally disobeyed God.
Over 50,000 of these stones have been found in Ica, Peru, ICA. Many of them show dinosaurs on them. But how could these people know to carve dinosaurs accurately on these stones?
Inca stones are known hoaxes, Ken. Why do you keep using things that are known hoaxes?
Wow! We found stones depicting dinosaurs that didn't exist on the continent they were found on and were part of the ecosystem of a completely different continent, and the stones depicted dinosaurs to be exactly how we thought of them at the time! Woo! And to make it even more believable, they said humans taming those dinosaurs and hunting others. Then we did more research and found out that the dinosaurs depicted on the stones did not act and behave the same way the stones depicted them, giving more and more evidence that the stones were, and still, nothing more than a hoax for the entirely gullible. I mean, some of them depict a life cycle of eggs hatching into a larval form and then metamorphosizing into dinosaurs, while other images show humans riding on the backs of pterosaurs, which could not possibly support that much weight and still fly. No wonder Kent believes they're real. I mean, he'll believe anything.
Nebuchadnezzar built the Ishtar Gate in 575 BC. Dinosaurs were still alive. They accurately depicted dinosaurs in 575 BC.
Oh boy. So the gate was built in 569 BCE and depicts many different animals like lions, bulls, horses, real creatures. But the one Kent's talking about is the Mushusu dragon, which is a mythological creature with a basis in the constellation Hydra, and was an important figure back then. But it's not based on any dinosaur, and never was. I can't believe we're doing this as a video.
Alexander the Great reported when he conquered part of India that his soldiers were scared by the dragons that lived in the caves.
Dragons. They were large snakes. The Indian king, Abbasaris, kept serpents that were large but were exaggerated in their size. At one point, they found a snake that lived in a cave that the Indian people found sacred. The snake scared them by emerging as they walked by, and the snake was exaggerated by Alienus, the soldier that reported it, so they didn't look too much like foolish cowards. Alexander already believed it all, so why not just tell a story he already thought was true? But we don't find snakes that big. Ever. And even Indian tradition doesn't say it was as large as the Greeks tell.
This Roman mosaic, made out of little tile pieces, shows two long-necked dinosaurs in 2nd century AD.
Okay, so first of all, Kent says that they're supposed to be dragons. Second, we have text dating back from before 2nd century CE, and actually we have from the 2nd century BCE. And even before that. And at no time whatsoever in any Roman text do they talk about dinosaurs or dragons, unless it's to talk about the gods they literally made up. And thirdly, that art is stylized with the necks entwined to show a battle. And to give evidence of that, the word victorino is Latin for victorious. What Kent thinks are dinosaurs are stylized horses to show a battle. I found a full-colored version, but most of the thing is gone to time. Can we please not do any more of this? I'm slowly becoming more and more convinced Kent is getting senile in his own age.
No, you don't get to end this.
Please?
Oh, no. No.
Okay then, Angel, it's on you. But can we please speed it up a little?
This mosaic from Palestine in 100 AD shows dinosaurs on it. St. George is famous for slaying a dragon in 275 AD. He was later martyred for his faith, a good Christian guy. He was the patron saint of England and Portugal.
The Palestrina mosaic shows all manner of animals on it, and I found one in color. As usual, in case it's protected, I won't show it, but it's the Nile Mosaic of Palestrina. It is not in Palestine, Kent, you absolute buffoon! It is in Palestrina, east of ancient Rome, in the middle of Italy. Your slide gets it right and you get it wrong. Learn to read, dude. And that's not a dinosaur. Hell, you can barely tell if it's part of the scenery or an animal. And as for the second, it's literally folklore and an over-dramatization of a desert crocodile, which were plentiful in the area until about 100 years ago. Unless you seriously want to believe there is a church out there in Libya with a spring that can cure all diseases, the basis for your story about George's martyring himself for the sake of the church. There was no real dragon, and there was no real dinosaur. Just a crocodile in a lake the guy might have killed off. I'm having fun reading all of these, but I guess something is fun coming out of the conspiracy, Kent.
Bible talks about dinosaurs in the book of Job, chapter 40. He lieth under the shady trees in the covert of the reed and fens, means the swamp.
Oh, there it is. Behemoth, or more literally, four-legged beast. We're literally talking about an elephant. The cedar isn't the literal tail, but it's the trunk of the elephant. For fuck's sake, Kent. You need things to be translated the way you want them so you can keep your Bible's beliefs no matter what. I'm sorry, guys, but Kent is really getting on my last nerves with all of this. He hand-wave dismisses all of the evidence against him just to try and mold everything so it can suit his narrative, then takes that skewed bullshit and collects it all in haphazard display to try to convince others to beg for donations so he can stay relevant. Kent, you need all this to mean what you want it to mean. That it's getting embarrassing.
The Lakwala region of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Is a brontosaurus roaming Africa's wilds in 1910? What? New York Herald ran an article that there might be dinosaurs still alive in the swamp just 100 years ago. In 1948, they ran another one. I'm sorry, Saturday Evening Post did. There could be dinosaurs. A well-known South African game hunter, Mr. Gobbler, returned from a trip to Angola and announced to the Cape Town newspaper that there was an animal of large dimensions, the description of which could only fit a dinosaur, dwelling in the Dololo swamps and known by the natives as Chippequi. It has the head and tail of a lizard. The Azandi people in Central Africa call it Nguri.
So a swamp-dwelling large creature that looks like a type of lizard that is really, really large? So a crocodile that was over-dramatized to sell newspapers in 1910 with a sensationalized headline? The stupid thing here is the next clip Kent shows.
People have made many trips, I think 50 now, expeditions have been gone into that swamp. There's one there right now. How long would it take in a canoe to explore an area the size of Illinois or Alabama? Long time. Is it possible they might hear you coming and, hide from you? I think very possible. Anyway, there have been giant crocodiles in that swamp, reports of them 50 feet long. There's a 24-foot crocodile killed in 2002. That's a big crocodile.
I rest my case. Now, he goes on about this for a while, right after he gives the exact reason for the legend, so Angel will skip ahead for the next clip.
Hold that thought.
What?
Another dinosaur the Pygmies recognized was the Triceratops.
Triceratops was from North America, not Africa, and it was from the end of the Cretaceous.
Oh, here we go! GFT back with the knowledge drops and the channel's dinosaur expert.
Stuart Olmsted, I tried to get a hold of him today from Iowa, saw a brontosaurus 700 miles north of Brazzaville while serving in the French Foreign Legion. He was flying a helicopter and watched the 40-foot creature for 5 minutes. When he went back in 2001, he and a friend in the canoe watched it nearly 20 of these creatures for an hour and 20 minutes.
Brontosaurus was also from North America, not from Africa. Also from the Cretaceous, which was almost 80 million years before the Triceratops ever walked the earth.
I just want to add this. If there were 20 of these things back in 2001, why didn't he take a picture? I mean, there were cameras, and he should have had cameras if they went back just to see them. If they were telling the truth and went on an expedition to find them, someone surely would have taken pictures or video. Speaking of pictures, I challenge Kent and all of his buddies to go on to Google Earth and find captures of these things. I mean, the satellite photos in those areas can see shadows of a palm leaf, let alone a giant like a brontosaurus. Or is he going to say they're eluding the satellites?
Prejudice, prejudging, the act or state of holding unreasonable preconceived judgments or convictions. That's what you atheists have. You've already decided there's no God, evolution's true, the Bible's not true, dinosaurs did not live with man. You've already decided. You won't be convinced of anything.
First of all, we're not prejudiced. We have evidence that dinosaurs went extinct. You ignore all that evidence, dismiss all further evidence brought to you with a bunch of nuh-uh, and merely take people's word for what fits your narrative. With nothing in the world to back it up, you think the Bible is entirely true, so you use that bias to cherry-pick legends and folk tales as if they're literal. Not to assault the fossilized Diohippus, but going back to Behemoth, look at Behemoth, which I made along with you, and which feeds on grass like an ox. What strength it has in its loins, what power in its muscles of its belly. Its tail swings like a cedar, The sinews of its thighs are close-knit. Its bones are tubes of bronze. Its limbs like rods of iron. It ranks first among the works of God, yet its maker can approach it with his sword. The hills bring it their produce, and all the wild animals play nearby. Under the lotus plants it lies, hidden among the reeds in the marsh. The lotuses conceal it in their shadow. The poplars by the stream surround it. A raging river does not alarm it. It is secure, though the Jordan should surge up in its mouth. Can anyone capture it by the eyes or trap it and pierce its nose? So they're literally machines, huh? Are they literally made out of bronze and iron? He wants to say this creature literally existed. But of course, bone is not metal. It's metaphorically talking about a large animal, not a metal one. But I suppose you'll trust in what the Bible says and you won't believe in anything else, right?
Missionary Cal Bombay and his wife are now in Ontario, Canada. They told me they watched a creature like this for 15 minutes in Kenya. He said the plates were bigger than the one pictured here.
So they watched a Nile crocodile, the largest freshwater predator in Africa and the second largest extant reptile in the world, after the saltwater crocodile. Those are in Kenya.
In the Beni swamps of Madre de Dios, Colonel Fawcett saw an animal he believed to be Diplodocus.
Diplodocus was also from North America and existed during the Jurassic period.
Godfather Time's spitting facts again, but at least Kent has the right side of the world, even if he doesn't have the right continent. The biggest issue here is that we're talking about a creature almost 30 feet tall and twice as long, and yet the only news we have over this is from a century ago with no sightings before or since, not to mention what GFT said before. From here, he talks about snakes. Yeah, snakes exist. But the section culminates on this gem. Angel?
130-foot long boa seen in Peru. Let's see, this is from Reuters news service 30 years ago. Luis Buma was playing soccer in a village deep in Peru's Amazon jungle when he saw a black boa constrictor the size of 2 passenger buses slither by. According to the local inhabitants, 130-foot long snake with a diameter of 15 feet crashed through the jungle undergrowth, felling trees and forging a ditch wide enough to drive a tractor through.
The largest fossil snake found today, Kent, is up to 50 feet long. And you said everything was getting smaller than when it was back in the day. And now you're claiming there are snakes that are 100 to 20 to 150 feet long? I don't know if you understand how the fossil record works, but it doesn't represent by what you've asserted.
Yeah, reported to exist and actually exist are vastly different things. It's astounding that we have a grand total of 0 pictures of these things. Every time we have to report of a dinosaur, it just so happens no one has pictures in a day and age where cameras are plentiful, like, everywhere. But it's always, according to so-and-so and reported from this and that. Never, hey, we found this. Here's a picture. The best part of all of this in the video, Kent stopped showing pictures as soon as we passed the 50-foot range. Godfather Time is on point again this week.
Loch Ness Monster. Thousands of folks claim they've seen a creature in Loch Ness.
Oh God, Kent, no.
Loch Ness, which means Lake Ness, okay? 24 miles long, 1 mile to 1.5 miles wide, and really deep.
Please. No.
Sir Peter Scott, a member of Parliament, is an expert on Nessie. He said, I believe in the Loch Ness Monster. Remember their Parliament over there? It's either a chronosaur, plesiosaur, or elasmosaur. Probably most people say a plesiosaur.
Plesiosaurs were marine reptiles, not non-avian dinosaurs. Also, they couldn't survive in cold waters. They lived in tropical, warm seas of the Jurassic and Cretaceous area, not the modern-day coastlines or lakes of Scotland.
The most debunked claim of modern-day dinosaurs in history. And GFT gave the #1 problem. Look, hold on, what? Angel's handing me... Angel has given me something to read. Hold on. I apologize, sir, but I cannot bring myself to clip any more of the Loch Ness Monster. Please allow the demon to give an audio representation of what I want to say to Mr. Hovind, as I cannot bring myself to utilize the proper words to express my disdain. Okay. Demon, what would she say? You know, I don't know what I expected. Fair enough. Well, I'll just go over the history of the Loch Ness Monster and what has been done, so look for it, as we completely eradicate this claim. The Loch Ness Monster, which I will just call Nessie like everybody else, was first attested to back in the year 565 CE, and is a character in Scottish folklore, the life of St. Columba. The story was written 100 years after St. Columba died, when he was in the area when people were burying a colleague, saying that the water beast had killed them. He had someone swim across the lake and used the power of God to drive the beast back that was about to attack the man. Fortunately, now we get to fast forward a lot of time, because no one saw it for the next 1,300 years. 1,300 years.
Hold on.
Didn't Kent say that things don't live that long anymore? I guess he didn't look this deep into the tale. Anyway, there are a few vague alleged sightings of the things in the loch starting in about 1871 to 1888, but weren't talked about until 1933, when the penultimate sighting of Nessie happened, followed by the infamous picture in 1934, known as the surgeon's photograph, taken by Robert Kenneth Wilson. Over time, there have been a massive amount of pictures which tend to be inconsistent with each other, or the Wilson picture. Videos of things that also do not stay consistent with each other, and in the end it was revealed that Robert actually faked the photograph, and he admitted to it to its kids, who told everybody else. At one point, a magician said he summoned Nessie up and out of the water, claiming it was an elephant squid, or whatever that is. Sonar images of algae, photographs that were staged, and people claiming Apple Maps pictures, which turned out to be the wake of a boat. One of the main issues is all of the alleged sightings were always by one person at a time, like Nessie's camera shy, or just really selective to only appear to believers. As soon as a skeptic gets in the loch, they get nothing. From scuba diving, sonar searches, and everything in between, and judging by how old this thing must be, 13 centuries old, and by the people that fucking live there attesting personally that the stories are just part of the mythology and have no basis in reality. You would have to be a complete moron to think Nessie is actually real, or just desperate for your confirmation bias. Kent thinks Nessie is real. Angel, can we please move on to the next clip? Make it a nice one, please. I don't want to be here all night.
I've got tons of stuff. We can go all night on this.
No thanks. There's only so much stupid a person can take in one day. Suffice it to say that Kent just regurgitates folktales from one place to another, from Canada to South Africa and back again, with nothing to actually back it up. The stupid part of all of the claims of dinosaurs he makes in this video is that the more he brings up his alleged evidence of dinosaurs, the less evidence he actually has, and the more evidence that it's all made up.
Wait, what?
Let me explain. If there are so many sightings of this evidence from all around the world, and yet no one has definitive evidence of capturing one, it gives more and more evidence that they're all just over-exaggerations of normal creatures that we did capture. When you have 100 separate parts of the world claiming dinosaurs and not once or one to show for it, it calls into question the validity of any of them. Because surely someone at some point would have defining proof by now. But no one does, and no one has, and no one ever fucking will. This is especially the case when all of these folktales and legends are in remote areas of the world, and not one of them in an even remotely populated area. Kent clings to these folktales and fabrications so desperately just to keep his narrative that if someone gave him undisputed proof that all but one was absolutely fake and the last one didn't have evidence either way, he would just say, there was one that is true, so therefore dinosaurs are real and alive today.
I'm getting real tired of this shit.
Same. How much garbage can he make up? If that was only a little bit, I don't want to hear him go on a rant.
Of course, sir.
Well, shall we close up another show? I think we went a little long this week.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I am Corsi, and this is the Fluffy Atheist. Pet those like and subscribe buttons, and remember, a little research will go a long way. Let the Fluffy Atheist do it for you.